Right. Okay. FPL deadline day today. Well, we better make some final decisions then. Hello and welcome to FPL Mate and happy FPL Day 1 and all. The launch of the Premier League starts tonight, so we do need to make some final decisions. So in today's video, we are going to be covering some of those final topics, those final decisions that you guys are still toying with as we approach this deadline for Game Week 1. We are going to be talking about some of the press conference news that has been announced already from the teams in the Premier League, from the managers, and then we're going to have a look at some other team and injury news from those teams that maybe haven't had press conferences, because we've still got some really good information there. We're going to have a look at those 5.5 million midfielders, Anderson versus Reinders, or maybe there's someone else we could be looking at. We'll have a look at the 6.5 million midfielders once again for the final time before deadline. We're going to do a goalkeeper tier list because we didn't actually do a goalkeeper tier list video this preseason. We've done defenders, midfielders, forwards. Go check them out if you would like to. But I thought we might round things off with the goalkeepers today. I'm going to give my final thoughts on the forwards this season, and I'm going to show you the final changes, my final tweaks to my Game Week 1 team. And then finally, we've got the most important Game Week 1 tip of them all. What do you think that one might be, guys? Of course, all will be revealed at the end of the video. So first of all, let's round off the press conference news for yesterday, I suppose, when you're watching this, guy. So Kluivert is out and has not trained. Game Week 1 is too early for Christie. Cook is also out until Game Week 4. And Dango is strongly linked to Brentford. I think that transfer might happen now. So that is the Bournemouth team news that we have got from the manager. Next, let's go to Brentford. And Wissa has been confirmed to be not playing this weekend. So if you have Wissa in your team, remove him. It seems like his situation at Brentford has not quite been figured out yet. Kelleher and Sharda have trained, and a late decision will be made on them whether they can play in Game Week 1 or not. There's been no definitive answers on Dubravka at Burnley. He is fit, but he might not be match ready to go for Game Week 1. Robinson is still unavailable following surgery that he had over the summer, so Sessegnon might have to play despite some injury issues with Sessegnon. He has trained, so he does have a chance. Moving to Liverpool, and McAllister is available, of course. As we know, we saw him play a few minutes last weekend in that Community Shield final. Gravenberch is going to be suspended, however. There's not been an update on Bradley. He was not asked about during that press conference from Arne Slot, but Slot did imply that both he, Bradley, and Frimpong would be used this season. I don't know who will be used primarily. It seems like Frimpong is going to be starting off the season if Bradley does still have some injury issues, but maybe some concerns there that Bradley can certainly have some of the minutes that Frimpong ordinarily would. Whether that means 59th minute substitutions for Frimpong maybe, or maybe Bradley coming in and playing the odd game. I don't know. Don't want to speculate too much. This is going to be revealed in the first couple of game weeks. And by the way, guys, that is why I will not be picking Frimpong in my Game Week 1 team. I think there's just some concerns about that one that I'm not quite happy with, or happy enough with, in order to select Frimpong in my team. So going to Sunderland, there's been comments on Mark Gue, but they were embargoed. So we don't know if he's ready for Game Week 1 or not. I think we probably have to assume that he is not going to be ready for Game Week 1, but hopefully, guys, he is just going to be on your bench anyway, so you're not going to need him right away. And as for West Ham, Graham Potter did not tell us who will play in goal out of Areola and new signing from Leicester, Hermansen, the new goalkeeper there at West Ham. So really a bit of a kind of a mix-up who is going to be starting in goal for the new season. I probably would predict Areola, but maybe Hermansen comes in. So generally, I think both of these West Ham goalkeepers will be avoids, but of course, we will be talking about goalkeepers later on in the video. So we do have some other injury news from various teams. These are the most important ones here. So from Aston Villa, Rodgers has been spotted in training this week. So that is good news for him. Whether he actually starts in Game Week 1 or not, maybe plays limited minutes, I'm not exactly sure. But if he's training, that is good news. I think by Game Week 2, he should be, fully ready to go in an Aston Villa shirt this season. Martinez in goal. Emi Martinez is suspended for Game Week 1. Just be aware of that if you are picking up some Aston Villa players ahead of their game against Newcastle in Game Week 1. As for Chelsea, Colwill is out for the long term. Badiashile and Lavia are out slightly shorter term. And Fofana is back in training. So, bit of a mystery who is going to be the centre-backs for Chelsea. I mean, I think Tosin has probably got a good chance there. Chalobah maybe But it's we're going to have to find out. Fofana, of course, is going to be one of those options as well. Chelsea fans, let me know, who do you think is going to be starting at centre-back for Chelsea to start off this season? Jackson is suspended, but given that Chelsea now have Joao Pedro and Liam Delap, I'm not sure that makes much of a difference. Anyway, going to Crystal Palace, Nketiah, Kamada and Chadi Riyad are going to be out. Gay is fine. He had cramp in the Community Shield final, but he's also quite likely to leave Crystal Palace. So something to be aware of, guys. If Gay does sign for another team, for Liverpool, for example, I don't think that makes him a good pick necessarily, because I think he will be on the bench a lot of the time for Liverpool, as Konate will probably play ahead of him. But yeah, probably an avoid. Complete avoid Gay at this point. I would just stick with Richards at Crystal Palace if you're looking for a Crystal Palace 4.5 million centre-back. As for Everton, Branthwaite has re-injured his hamstring in training. Mikalenko is also likely out, so I think that does damage the appeal of Everton's defence quite a bit. Actually, that has put me off Tarkowski a little bit, so probably will not be going for Tarkowski personally, but of course, Tarkowski is still going to be a pretty good asset with Everton, with some very nice fixtures there. And there's going to be a late decision to be made on Bogle at right back. If you are a Leeds fan and you want a 4.5 million Leeds defender in your team, Bogle may be available, may not. We're not exactly sure yet. And as for Man City, Rodri is going to be out until game week 4 at the earliest. Foden and Gvardiol, their availability status is unknown. Both were not in the squad for the last friendly. Foden, maybe a bit more clarity on him, but Gvardiol, who knows what's going on with him. Hopefully we'll get some more information in the press conferences for Man City today. Of course, guys, I will be actually streaming today, sort of all afternoon UK time, all the way up until the deadline. In fact, as you watch this video, I might even be live streaming right now. So come and join me. And if the press conferences have been done by this point in the afternoon, they probably have, then we'll be giving you updated information on all of these teams, including Man City and maybe Spurs as well. But what we know from Spurs right now is that Solanke played 30 minutes in the Super Cup, so he is going to be at least partially available. Whether he can play 90 minutes against Burnley is maybe another question. Doggy is not going to be ready for game week 1. However, Kulusevski is out long term, and Maddison even longer still. So guys, we need to talk about those 5.5 million midfielders. I think a lot of people have this as maybe one of their final decisions for game week 1, guys. And if you are enjoying this video, by the way, or you found any of the content useful throughout the preseason, make sure you do drop the final like of the preseason videos. That would be massively appreciated. If we could get 2,000 likes on this video, I think I'll be really, really happy with that. So thank you guys for all of your support in the preseason. Let that continue all the way until deadline. But let's talk about these 5.5 million midfielders, and I have included 5 million midfielders in this table as well. And this is coming from the Fantasy Football Hub website here. So we've got some predicted points for various midfielders in this price category. A lot of you guys looking at Reinders and Anderson primarily, but it's interesting to see if there are some other players here with similar predicted points. So first of all, let's look at the top of this list. We've actually got Harry Wilson, who interestingly is a player who has done really well in pre-season. We've got some good fixtures here. He is a set piece taker, free kicks, corners, playing on that right wing for Fulham. He really could be an amazing pickup at 5.5 million if you're willing to take a risk. And I think that is really the key with Wilson. We saw him in and out of the team a little bit last season, some injury problems there that maybe impacted his minutes. But generally speaking, if he's on the pitch, he's going to be a really useful FPL asset. So it's about your risk appetite with Wilson, I think, really. But if he does play very regularly, you know, if he plays 5 out of 6 games in the opening 6, I think he's going to provide some real value at 5.5 million. Looks pretty nice, guys. Reinders, of course, is a popular pick right now, having scored 2 goals in Man City's most recent friendly after coming on in the second half. So maybe there is a bit more attacking potential there than we thought, playing in that centre midfield position. And certainly if Rodri is going to be out until September, Kovacic out until October, and Champions League games, so, you know, 4 or 5 game weeks away, then certainly Reinders, maybe as a shorter term punt, could be kind of interesting, could be an interesting player to go for if you think he is going to get minutes. We've also got Tavernier here as well, who, you know, I think he could be decent for minutes, in fairness. If Dango is leaving Bournemouth, I know Bournemouth are looking to sign some new players at the moment, got some new players in, but I think generally if he plays, and he is a player who does typically play, after that Liverpool game, his fixtures are really nice. He's not really a player I had really considered before. I checked out the Fantasy Football Hub predicted points. So, by the way, guys, this is why Fantasy Football Hub is so good, because sometimes it throws out a player that you've not really properly thought about until it kind of throws the player up as, actually, this player has a little bit of potential here. So that's why I do always recommend you guys checking out Fantasy Football Hub. Of course, there is a link in the description if you want to check that one out and get yourself a Hub membership, because, yeah, like I say, super useful. And you can get tables like this, you know, define your parameters, what kind of position, what kind of price range player are you looking for, and it will give you all of the predicted points based on the criteria that you select. For this, I just selected 5 to 5.5 million midfielders. It put all of them in a list and ordered them by most to least predicted points. Amazing stuff. So yeah, Tavernier, pretty interesting. Dewsbury Hall, I'm a little colder on now than perhaps I was a few days ago. I think Jack Grealish signing for Everton maybe moves Dewsbury Hall into a slightly more defensive role, at least in some games. I don't think that will happen in Game Week 1 necessarily. So he could be really nice for Game Week 1, having some of that set piece share, playing in an attacking midfield position. Game Week 1 could be nice for Dewsbury Hall. But after that, it might get a little bit more concerning, to be honest. But generally speaking, Dewsbury Hall for 5 million looks like he's going to be the best 5 million guy. The other player maybe Ismail Assar, if you're looking for someone with a bit of attacking threat. Of course, Granit Xhaka, maybe a bit more secure for minutes, maybe some set piece share for Granit Xhaka there. Adingra is on this list, as is Anderson. And this is just about, you know, are you looking for the odd goal, or are you looking for consistent clean sheets, defensive contributions, that kind of thing in the opening fixture? Anderson is going to be really consistent, really safe. We think he's going to play most minutes, although, again, I think Anderson's minutes potential is diminishing, as it seems like Forest are not only playing with 2 forwards, which means there's 1 less central midfielder, but they've also just signed James McAtee, who is capable of playing in that central midfield position. So I do wonder, you know, is Anderson going to get slightly less minutes this season? You know, even if he's getting subbed off at 70 minutes rather than playing the full 90, still starting every game, but getting subbed off 70, 75 minutes, that could be really damaging for the defensive contributions. Because, you know, say he's on, you know, 10 defensive contributions by the 70th minute. If he doesn't make it to the 90th minute, well, how is he going to get those extra couple of defensive contributions that is going to put him over the line to get enough of them to get the points? So that does worry me a little bit, and I have called on Elliot Anderson. And I think for me, Reinders is certainly up in my estimations, and Anderson maybe down a little bit over the last couple of days. Maybe you could go for someone like Wilson. But Arias is also an interesting player here if you do want to take a risk. I think the opening fixtures for Wolves are not great, but they do get pretty nice from kind of Game Week 5 onwards, actually. So definitely a player to consider if you want to take a bit of a risk there. But what I would say is Anderson is still probably the safest player here, the most sensible player on this particular list. But I think 1 or 2, maybe even 3 of the midfielders on the screen right now, guys, will outscore Anderson in these opening 6 game weeks. The problem is, I couldn't tell you which 3 it was going to be, because all of them are kind of more high risk, high reward kind of players. So hopefully that makes sense for you guys. Anderson, the sensible pick, but I think there's definitely some potential for some of these other picks here as well. Let's whiz through the 6.5 million midfielders. I've thrown 7 million midfielders in here as well, because just to see if it's kind of maybe worth making that upgrade, you know, maybe trying to find the extra 0.5 million to upgrade to Semenyo. And actually, after Liverpool, I quite like Semenyo as a pick, really. And that's kind of backed up by his predicted points here. He has the most of any sub 7 million midfielder, which is really nice. 30.8 predicted points over the first 6 game weeks, which is quite nice. Ahmad is up here as well. He did really well for points per 90 last season, but will that continue if he's playing more as a fullback this season with maybe more attackers, really, in that Man United team? Ahmad maybe seeing a smaller goal share. And Jai still looks really, really positive, as does Sarr in this list. Kind of almost neck and neck, really, for those predicted points. And we've got Rice, Mittelmar, and Enzo just a little bit lower than them on the list as well. We haven't covered any 6 million midfielders, but I do really like the look of Jorginho Rutter at the moment. He's a guy I'm certainly looking at. Yuri Tillemans maybe as well, but I don't really fancy him for penalties. I think it's going to be Ollie Watkins. Right, I've made a quick goalkeeper tier list, guys. This is going to be controversial as always, but I put Sanchez and Sells as top picks. Really like the look of them. I think Dubravka at 4 million offers something unique in the sense that he is the only 4 million goalkeeper who is guaranteed minutes. So I think because he is so unique, we have to put him as a top pick, not necessarily as a goalkeeper you start in your team, but as that perfect bench goalkeeper. Remember, when we do the tier lists, we always take price into consideration. I'm also going to put Raya in the top picks as well, because I actually don't think there is much value in the Arsenal defenders this season. So going for a 5.5 million Raya rather than a 6 million Gabriel or Saliba might actually be okay. I think the fullbacks don't get attacking returns, and they're not super nailed on either in the fullback position for Arsenal. So that does make Raya, I think, a little bit more appealing than maybe some of the other premium goalkeepers, because for his team, he actually provides maybe a similar value to the defenders, whereas for Liverpool, Man City, I don't think those goalkeepers are worth going for as much, because I think there's more value in the defenders for those teams. We've got Pickford because he is the top scoring goalkeeper every season. So I'll put him in great pick. I think that makes sense. And the 4.5 million goalkeepers for Verbruggen, Petrovic and Kelleher I quite like as well. In terms of those solid picks, Edison and Allison, who we mentioned, do prefer the defenders from these teams, but these are solid picks. Leno and Henderson at 5 million are pretty reliable as well, but I don't think they're anything too exciting for the start of the season. If you want to take a risk, you could go for someone like Vicario. I think there is better value in the much better value in the defense for Spurs. Van de Ven, Romero or Pedro Porro, I think, are way above the pecking order if you're looking for Spurs defenders. And I don't really recommend doubling up on the Spurs defensive assets. We have to get a bit of more encouragement from them in, actual football first. I know they've had a great preseason though, so worth a dip, a double dip. Maybe not. Jose Sa, not so keen on him compared to the other 4.5s. And Pope and Martinez offer a bit of risk there as well. Pope because of the potential Ramsdale rotation, and Martinez because he's not even going to be playing in game week 1. Could be useful from game week 2, but it's a risk you're going to take. If you're going Dubravka and Martinez, for example, yes, you might have Dubravka for the first game to cover Martinez, but it's a bit of a risk there. And as for avoids, Onana, probably not going to play in game week 1, to be honest. Areola might play in game week 1, but maybe not thereafter. And Perry and Rofes, I just don't think it's worth spending 4.5 million on a newly promoted goalkeeper for the start of the season. Well, we have some slightly more reliable guys who we kind of know what their teams are about, what their defenses are about in the Premier League already. Right, forwards is a super tough one. So I'll keep this brief. If you want to check out the full graphic, pause the video, whatever, that's totally fine with me. But yeah, I've basically put a tick next to the forwards that I am strongly considering or have strongly considered for my FPL team over the last couple of days. We put a kind of a yellow circle, an amber sign, if you like, next to those who I'm not fully convinced by, and an X sign against all of the forwards who I'm just simply not considering at all for game week 1. So these are the 20 most popular forwards. Evan Nilsson isn't on this list. I would definitely throw him in there as well. But yeah, there are so many options. And I think at this point, outside of like Watkins and Haaland, I think we have to accept that all other forwards have certain drawbacks, whether that is fixtures, whether that is rotation risk, whatever. Everyone kind of has their downsides. And I think you just got to pick your poison at this point. There are some quite tasty poisons to be drunk, but yeah, you'll still end up poisoned more than likely, guys. But yeah, plenty of options. You just kind of have to accept that none of them are the full package right now, which was why I think I prefer a 2-man forward formation in FPL going into this season. Okay, so let's have a look at my Game Week 1 team, and I have made one change since yesterday's video that I wanted to make you guys aware of. I don't know if I will stick with this or not, but, it's only right that I do let you know that this is something I'm thinking about. So in yesterday's video, I said the 2 players I'm least convinced by are probably Reinders and Ismail Assar, maybe Joao Pedro to an extent. At this moment, Ismail Assar, with Eza being heavily linked now to Spurs fans feeling increasingly confident that that deal will be done, it has put me off Sarr quite a lot, and therefore maybe going for Njai could be the play. So this is what I'm at right now. I think maybe this is a bit more boring, a little bit more safe, sensible, whatever you want to call it, but we've gone for Njai for our Game Week 1 team as a maybe slightly safer option. But I am still tempted to go back to Sar or another 6.5 million midfielder in that position. But this is kind of where I'm at right now, guys. Nothing else has changed from yesterday's video. If you want to get a full lowdown and my justification behind every one of these picks, and you haven't seen it already, please do go check out yesterday's team selection video. And hopefully a lot of these picks will make a lot more sense, particularly when I talk about my strategy. And just to let you know, guys, this is your final opportunity to get Fantasy Football Hub's 50% off plus your money back if you don't win your mini league offer. So right now, guys, you can click the link at the top of the description or in the pinned comment, and you can get this amazing deal from the best toolkit in the FPL world with so many amazing tools. Hopefully you guys have seen me using these tools in videos in the preseason and, you know, seen how good they are. If you want to check it out, you can get your team rating for free. Worth just having a look for a sanity check, but I do recommend getting the full membership as well. I've been a member for 5 years myself, so this is not just me waffling, trying to sell you something. This is something I use every single day, you know, for hours a day. I get, you know, it's kind of my job to do FPL research, but if you are an FPL nerd like me, then you are definitely going to find some benefit in Fantasy Football Hub, and it might help you win your mini league as well. And if it doesn't, you get your money back anyway. That's how confident they are. So super, super useful stuff there. Click on the link in the description. And now it's time for that final tip of the video that I did promise you. And I think this is such an underrated one, guys. It's not about players. It's not about formations or chip strategy. It is simply this. Do not wait until the last few minutes before deadline to finalize your team. In recent years, we have seen the FPL website crash before deadline. We've even seen the FPL website crash this week. Not even in a high web traffic time, the website went completely down. So try and get a team that you are happy with sorted, line up correct, captain in the right place, bench in the right order as early as possible in today. And if you are making changes, I would definitely try and make final changes to your team at the very latest, sort of half an hour before deadline. You could maybe go to 15 minutes. Any later than that before deadline, and there is a serious risk of the FPL website and app crashing, and you will not be able to make any further changes. You will not be able to save your team. So please be aware of that, guys. I cannot stress how many people get caught out by this every year, and I do not want you guys to have to deal with that situation. But anyway, I'm just about ready for the new FPL season. If you want to find out exactly how ready I am, check out another video, of course, if you'd like to. But if I'm live streaming right now, and there's a good chance I am if you're watching this video in the afternoon, come and join me on stream. We'll have a chat. I'll answer some of your questions. Of course, I'll try and answer a bunch of questions in the comment section as well, so feel free to leave them there. But most importantly, come and join me on the live. Come and join me. Let's have a chat. Let's welcome the new FPL season in together as a team, as a gang. I've got a few games planned. I've got a few interesting topics planned and fun activities we're going to do together. And I'd love to see you guys over there. Thank you so much for watching the final preseason video. Really appreciate all of the support during preseason this year. Massive thank you. Do leave a like if you enjoyed the content. Subscribe if you'd like to. And, well, I'll see you on stream, and I'll see you in the new season, guys. Good luck for Game Week 1 and beyond. And I'll see you later, mates. Bye-bye.